Main segment. JJ Berman 1. JJ Berman 1, welcome, folks. I'm JJ Berman, and today we have Dean Bip with us. Dean, how are you? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, I'm good, JJ, but I have to ask, why does it smell like existential dread in here? JJ Berman 2. JJ Berman 2, oh, that's just the scent of our previous sponsor's product. They dropped us after we questioned the meaning of their existence. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 3. JJ Berman 3, so, Dean, let's talk about cheese. You know what they say, that's not your cheese, that's nacho cheese. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, haha, classic. But let's get serious. How do you find happiness while hosting a podcast? JJ Berman 4. JJ Berman 4, well, you see, the key to happiness is to interview yourself while investigating the smell that's causing midlife crises. JJ Berman Detective. JJ Berman Detective, speaking of which, I've been trying to figure out that smell. It's like a 24/7 live stream of someone's existential crisis. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 5. JJ Berman 5, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a podcast. It's a mental health podcast to help people relax. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's deep, man. But what about that truth serum causing midlife crises? JJ Berman 6. JJ Berman 6, oh, that was just to interrogate our 28-year-old guest about random events. You know, as a distraction from posting his own podcast. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, and did he get his life together? JJ Berman 7. JJ Berman 7, no, his microphone was never plugged in. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, classic. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 8. JJ Berman 8, well, folks, it's been a wild ride. We've exponentially increased in number, absurdity, and existential crises. But in the end, we all just got along and got on with our normal lives. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, couldn't have said it better myself. Stop bean dipping yourself, everyone. JJ Berman 11. JJ Berman 11, so, Dean, you're a stand-up comedian. How do you incorporate existential dread into your comedy? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, well, you see, the key is to make people laugh at the absurdity of life. Like, why do we even have different types of cheese? Isn't it all just milk at the end of the day? JJ Berman 12. JJ Berman 12, the existential cheese crisis. A classic. JJ Berman Detective 2. JJ Berman Detective 2, still investigating that smell, by the way. I've narrowed it down to either camembert or the futility of human existence. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 13. JJ Berman 13, so, Dean, let's talk about sponsors. How do you find new sponsors when you've already angered the only company that was sponsoring your show? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, the art of the sponsor hunt. You see, you have to offer them something they can't resist, like a podcast within a podcast that's actually a cooking show. JJ Berman 14. JJ Berman 14, brilliant. We could call it Cooking with Existential Dread. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, perfect. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 15. JJ Berman 15, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a cooking show. It's a mental health cooking show to help people relax while questioning their existence. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's so meta, man. But what about that truth serum still causing midlife crises? JJ Berman 16. JJ Berman 16, oh, that was just to interrogate our 28-year-old guest about his favorite cheese. You know, as a distraction from questioning his own existence. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, and did he find his favorite cheese? JJ Berman 17. JJ Berman 17, no, his taste buds were never plugged in. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, classic. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. Outro. JJ Berman 18. JJ Berman 18, well, folks, that wraps up part 2 of this 20-part episode. We've delved into the paradox of cheese, the art of sponsor hunting, and the never-ending quest to plug in our metaphorical microphones. Until next time. JJ Berman 20. JJ Berman 20, Dean, you've been in the podcasting game for a while. Have you ever felt like you're in a podcast within a podcast within a podcast? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, oh, absolutely. It's like an infinite loop. You start questioning if the podcast is reality or if reality is the podcast. JJ Berman 21. JJ Berman 21, mind-blowing. It's like a fractal of existential dread. JJ Berman Detective 3. JJ Berman Detective 3, update on the smell, it's either the scent of an infinite loop or a forgotten sandwich from last week. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 22. JJ Berman 22, so, Dean, let's talk about self-help. How do you help yourself while helping others through your podcast? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, you see, the key is to embrace the absurdity. If you can laugh at the chaos, you can find peace in it. JJ Berman 23. JJ Berman 23, the peace in chaos theory. We could make that another podcast within this podcast. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, perfect. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 24. JJ Berman 24, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a self-help seminar. It's a mental health seminar to help people find peace in chaos. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's next level, man. But what about that truth serum still causing midlife crises? JJ Berman 25. JJ Berman 25, oh, that was just to interrogate our 28-year-old guest about his views on the multiverse. You know, as a distraction from his own infinite loop. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, and did he find his loop? JJ Berman 26. JJ Berman 26, no, he was stuck in a recursive function. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, classic. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. Outro. JJ Berman 27. JJ Berman 27, well, folks, that's the end of part 3 of this 20-part saga. We've explored the infinite loops of podcasts, reality, and recursive functions. What's next? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, everyone, and get ready for more layers of absurdity. JJ Berman 37. JJ Berman 37, welcome back, Cosmic Voyagers. If you're just joining us, you've missed existential crises, quantum mechanics, and the enigma of smelly studios. But hold on to your seats because we're about to explore the world of Jobin and debate the future of society. Dean Bip, are you ready for this next layer of absurdity? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, I've been ready since the dawn of time, JJ. Let's unravel the fabric of society. Main segment. JJ Berman 38. JJ Berman 38, so, Dean, let's talk about the world of Jobin podcast. What's the deal with that? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, the world of Jobin, a podcast so meta it makes ours look like child's play. It's all about whether to destroy society or rebuild it from scratch. JJ Berman 39. JJ Berman 39, That's intense. So, what's your take? Destroy or rebuild? J.J. Berman Detective 5. J.J. Berman Detective 5, update on the smell, it's either the decay of society or a very old cheese. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, J.J. J.J. Berman 40. J.J. Berman 40, so, Dean, let's talk about food. How do you incorporate food jokes into the existential dread of hosting a podcast? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, you see, food is the ultimate distraction. When you're contemplating the abyss, nothing lightens the mood like a good old-fashioned food joke. J.J. Berman 41. J.J. Berman 41, brilliant. We could call it Existential Eats, the podcast where every dish comes with a side of nihilism. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, perfect. Stop bean dipping yourself, J.J. J.J. Berman 42. J.J. Berman 42, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a cooking show within a debate club. It's a mental health debate club to help people decide whether to destroy or rebuild society. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's next level, man. But what about that truth serum still causing midlife crises? J.J. Berman 43. J.J. Berman 43, oh, that was just to interrogate our 28-year-old guest about his stance on societal collapse. You know, as a distraction from his own existential dread. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, and did he decide? J.J. Berman 44. J.J. Berman 44, no, he was stuck in a paradox of indecision. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, classic. Stop bean dipping yourself, J.J. Outro. J.J. Berman 45. J.J. Berman 45, well, folks, that wraps up part 5 of this 20-part saga. We've explored the world of Jobin, debated the future of society, and even pondered the paradox of indecision. What's next? You'll have to tune in to find out. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, everyone, and get ready for even more layers of cosmic absurdity. J.J. Berman 46. J.J. Berman 46, welcome back, interdimensional travelers. If you're just tuning in, you've missed debates on society, existential eats, and the paradox of indecision. But don't worry, we're about to explore the multiverse of podcasting and the enigma of live streaming. Dean Bip, are you ready to cross dimensions? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, I've got my interdimensional passport right here, JJ. Let's go multiversal. Main segment. J.J. Berman 47. J.J. Berman 47, Dean, let's talk about the multiverse. Do you think there's a version of this podcast in another universe where we're actually solving all these existential crises? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, the multiverse, a place where every podcast episode that could exist, does exist. Somewhere out there, we're probably self-help gurus. J.J. Berman 48. J.J. Berman 48, that's mind-bending. So, what's your take on live streaming? Is it another layer of reality? J.J. Berman Detective 6. J.J. Berman Detective 6, update on the smell, it's either a rift in the space-time continuum or someone's interdimensional garbage. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, J.J. J.J. Berman 49. J.J. Berman 49, so, Dean, let's talk about being podcast hosts. How do you manage to be both the host and the guest in this convoluted reality? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, you see, in the multiverse of podcasting, you can be both the interviewer and the interviewee. It's all about embracing the duality. J.J. Berman 50. J.J. Berman 50, brilliant. We could call it Duality Cast, the podcast where you interview yourself. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, perfect. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. J.J. Berman 51. JJ Berman 51, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a podcast within a live stream within a multiverse. It's a mental health multiverse to help people find their alternate selves. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's next level, man. But what about that truth serum still causing midlife crises? JJ Berman 52. JJ Berman 52, oh, that was just to interrogate our 28-year-old guest about his alternate selves in the multiverse. You know, as a distraction from his own duality. JJ Berman 64. JJ Berman 64, welcome back, peace-loving podcast aficionados. If you're just tuning in, you've missed pacifist multiverses, infinity loops, and the quest for inner peace. But buckle up, because we're adding bathroom breaks this season, and we've got a pun that might just get us cancelled. Dean Bip, are you ready to venture into uncharted waters? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, I've got my rubber duckies lined up, JJ. Let's make a splash. Main segment. JJ Berman 65. JJ Berman 65, Dean, let's talk about bathroom breaks. How do you feel about recording in there, even though the microphone was never plugged in? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, the unplugged bathroom session's a place where the acoustics are great, and the puns are even greater. Spot on character. Spot on character, spot on. JJ Berman 66. JJ Berman 66, speaking of puns, I heard you made a pun about our old sponsor while in the bathroom. Care to share? JJ Berman Detective 8. JJ Berman Detective 8, update on the smell, it's either the scent of cancellation or someone's failed sponsorship deal. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 67. JJ Berman 67, so, Dean, let's talk about being pacifist podcast hosts who also make puns. How do you balance humor and peace? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, you see, humor is the universal language of peace. A good pun can disarm even the most tense situations. Spot on character. Spot on character, spot on. JJ Berman 68. JJ Berman 68, brilliant. We could call it Puncast, the podcast where every episode is a play on words. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, perfect. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 69. JJ Berman 69, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a bathroom break within a multiverse. It's a mental health bathroom break to help people find their inner pun. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's next level, man. But what about that truth serum still causing midlife crises? JJ Berman 109. JJ Berman 109, welcome back, peace pilgrims and cosmic wayfarers. We're still on our quest for world peace, and Dean Bip is still indulging in his spaghetti peanut butter delicacy. How's it tasting, Dean? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, it's a mouthful of peace, JJ. Let's keep the good vibes rolling. Main segment. JJ Berman 110. JJ Berman 110, Dean, we've talked a lot about this spaghetti peanut butter dish. Do you think it could become the official meal of world peace? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, absolutely, JJ. It's the culinary embodiment of unity and diversity. Spot on character. Spot on character, spot on. JJ Berman 111. JJ Berman 111, and the bean dip flavored tea? Still going strong with that fictional electrolyte sponsorship? JJ Berman Detective 13. JJ Berman Detective 13, investigation update, we're closer to identifying the source of the smell, but it's still elusive. The tea is not the culprit. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 112. JJ Berman 112, Dean, we're still live streaming this peace extravaganza. How do we keep the energy so serene? Dean Bip. Dean Bip, it's all about channeling inner peace into outer expression, JJ. Spot on character. Spot on character, spot on. JJ Berman 113. JJ Berman 113, brilliant. We could call it Zen Stream, the live stream where every episode is a lesson in inner peace. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, perfect. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ. JJ Berman 114. JJ Berman 114, you know, we're actually hosting a podcast within a live stream within a peace initiative. It's a mental health peace initiative to help people find their inner Zen. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, that's next level, man. But what about that ongoing investigation? JJ Berman 115. JJ Berman 115, oh, that's still in progress. We're investigating the source of global discord, one peaceful podcast episode at a time. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, and have we found the source? JJ Berman 116. JJ Berman 116, no, we're still stuck in an infinity loop of saying stop bean dipping yourself. Dean Bip. Dean Bip, classic. Stop bean dipping yourself, JJ.